25-year-old Radhika, by nature, was a happy-go-lucky girl, full of life. But this was just one aspect of her, because since her childhood, she was a tennis player who used to hold a racket in her hand. And not just anyone, but she was one of the top 5 tennis players in Haryana. Not only that, she was so talented, focused, and disciplined that by November 2024, she had reached the 113 RD rank of the ITF women's doubles. 57 tournaments, 18 gold medals. Radhika used to dream of becoming the next Sania Mirza of the country, and seeing her dedication, hard work, and ability, no one had a shred of doubt in this. But no one can tell when death stands as an opponent in the court of life. Radhika's dreams were about to touch the sky, but those dreams were crushed in such a way that not only her career, but her entire life was over. What crime did Radhika Yadav commit that became a death sentence for her? And the biggest shock was that there was no enemy behind this defeat. In fact, there was someone close to her. Someone close to her who took away Radhika's future and her life. Welcome to the show. My name is Shashwat, and you are watching the tragic case of Radhika Yadav. July 10th, 2025 Radhika, who lived with her joint family in this house of Shashantlok in Gurugram, Sector 57, was very happy this morning, because today was her mother's birthday. Since her mother had a fever, Radhika thought of making some special dishes for her in the kitchen and giving her a surprise. It was 10:30 in the morning when suddenly Radhika's uncle Kuldeep and his son, Piyush, heard a loud noise on the ground floor of the house. In just a few seconds, they thought that the cooker had burst in the kitchen on the first floor, where Radhika was cooking food at that time. Both of them ran, and as soon as they entered the kitchen on the first floor, they saw the scene there and their feet slipped on the ground. Radhika was lying on the floor, covered in blood. They immediately took her to the Asia Marengo Hospital, located in Gurugram Sector 56. But unfortunately, it was too late by then. Radhika was already dead, but her death was not caused by a cooker blast, but by bullets. This case had become a murder case, not an accidental one. That's why the police is called from the hospital at 11:30 in the morning. One team of the police reaches the hospital, and the other team reaches Radhika's house. The investigation begins, but Radhika's family does not get any straight answer. The crime scene, which was the kitchen of the house, was filled with Radhika's blood, and it was clear from the bullets stuck on the kitchen wall that Radhika was shot there. The police finally got an acceptance letter from the unknown family members, and that was from Radhika's father, Deepak Yadav. First, I will read that confession of Deepak Yadav to you, who not only caused chaos in the whole country, but also gave birth to many conspiracy theories. And then we will also know how much truth is in those theories. Deepak Yadav said something like this in front of the police in his confession. A few days ago, my daughter's shoulder was injured, because of which she was not playing. She had opened her own academy. She used to coach children. When I used to go to Vazirabad village to buy milk, people there used to say that you are eating the girl's earnings, because of which I used to be very worried. People used to point fingers at my daughter's character. I asked my daughter to close this academy, but my daughter refused to close the academy. This tension used to remain in my mind, because of which my respect used to be hurt. I used to be very worried and stressed. Because of this tension, I took out my licensed revolver, and when my daughter Radhika Yadav was cooking food in the kitchen, then I shot her in the back. The reason given in this confession is as simple as it looks. In reality, it was as bogus and fake as well. And to understand this, we will first have to know the backstory of Deepak and Radhika. Deepak Yadav, who lived in Gurugram of Haryana, was a successful builder by profession, whose rental income was more than 10 lakh rupees. Approximately 25 years ago, on March 23, 2000, Radhika was born in this family. Due to financial well-off, Deepak Yadav got his daughter schooling from a premium school like Scottish High International School, whose annual fee was in lakhs. Along with studying, Radhika also held a tennis racket at a very young age. And not only did she hold it, but with her hard work, dedication, and discipline, she also earned a good name in tennis at a very young age. Everyone had this hope that one day Radhika will become the next Sania Mirza of the country. And if anyone had this faith, then it was her father, Deepak Yadav, the same father who told the taunts of society behind his daughter's murder. In an interrogation, the police asked Deepak Yadav the names of those who had incited him against his daughter, but he could not tell the name of a single person. Then the police went to Wazirabad village and interrogated more than 20 people, in which Deepak Yadav's family members were also present. But no one agreed to such a conversation. In the search for the real motive, a new angle emerged in the form of conspiracy theories. And this angle was of love jihad. Because on June 20th, in the music video of Love and Relationship Around Karwa, Radhika Yadav was seen acting with actor and singer Anam Ulhak. It was just a music video to say. But now many people on the internet started justifying Radhika's murder, and started saying that because of having an affair in another religion, Deepak Yadav killed his daughter to save respect in society. Punjab Tigers, which is a tennis team, one of the founders of which is actress Taapsee Pannu. There was a promotional shoot going on in Delhi in this regard, where Anam used to work in the creative team. And there Radhika Yadav reached out to Anam's teammate and showed her interest in acting. And while sharing her contact number, also said that if she has any work related to acting, then she should also give her a chance. This was the first time when Radhika had openly shown her interest in any field other than tennis. In 2024, Radhika was shortlisted for the Karwa music video, in which Anam also worked with her. After Radhika's murder, many mainstream media channels started spreading a fake narrative for TRP. It was shown in connection with religion, and without any valid proof, it was claimed that Deepak Yadav took such a step due to this music video and Radhika's affair. Whereas the truth was far from it. Radhika had shot this music video only after the permission of her family, and during the shooting, she used to come on the set with her mother. There was no vulgarity in the song, costume, or any such scene. In fact, Radhika's family did not find any issue in this. And while shooting, Radhika told me that her father liked the song very much. Anam had no such regular connection with Radhika. Just on professional terms, like an artist, both were in contact. In fact, Anam had no information about Radhika's personal life prior to this case. After the music video shoot, Radhika had deactivated her Instagram account. Because of this, Anam reached out to Radhika on WhatsApp for the final cut and promotion of the song. When asked for a collab post on Insta, Radhika said that she had deactivated her account for some reason, but she would be active after a few days. According to some people, even if we consider Anam's statement as a lie, there is no such evidence or clue in the police investigation that can justify Radhika and Anam's love affair. Hence, this case came back to the point that why a father killed his daughter mercilessly. According to Deepak Yadav's confession, the motive revolves around these 3 points. 1. Earning money from his daughter. 2. Shutting down the academy. 3. Questioning the character of his daughter. According to some sources, people around him used to find it difficult to wear a short dress because of Radhika's tennis play. And Deepak used to hear these taunts related to his daughter's character. But if we understand, if this was the only reason, then why would such a father promote his daughter to play tennis at such a young age? Radhika was playing tennis from a very young age. If Deepak Yadav was against Radhika's sports, then he would not have allowed her to play for a long time. For years, he used to take his daughter from practice to tournaments, both at home and abroad. A few months ago, due to a shoulder injury, when the doctor refused to allow Radhika to play tennis for some time for recovery, then Radhika became a tennis coach in a private academy. In the news, it was reported that Deepak Yadav had spent crores of rupees to open an academy for his daughter. But this was not the whole truth. Actually, Radhika did not have an academy of her own. In fact, she used to work as a coach in the academy in front of her house. Later, when more children started joining Radhika, then her father took a tennis court on rent for 35,000 rupees per month in the Sector 61 of Gurugram, next to the cricket academy. Everyone knew that Deepak Yadav was more passionate about his sports career than his daughter Radhika. And like a father, he was taking all the expenses. Also, Deepak Yadav's family was not only very strong with money, but also had a lot of respect in society. So, in this case, these 3 points of the confession are baseless. See, It is not necessary that everything is black and white. Sometimes some truth is hidden in the gray zone. According to investigators, this was a pre-planned murder because that day, Deepak had sent his son Neeraj out to get milk, whereas it was Deepak's job to get milk every day. On inquiring Radhika's mother, she only said that she did not know anything, although it is difficult to believe that such a big incident happened, and the mother did not know the reason behind it. Now, we will talk about the angle that is not only important in this case, but no one has talked about it. When Radhika's postmortem report came out, it was found that Radhika was shot from the front, which can be seen from the entry and exit wound in the body. But in the confession, Deepak Yadav had said to shoot from behind. Generally, people will think that what difference does it make where the bullet came from? Murder has already happened. But in actuality, the way the crime is committed, it reveals a lot about the intent, emotional state, and nature of the criminal. Shooting from behind often indicates that the murder is pre-planned, and the killer has done this to avoid eye contact with the victim. And there can be any reason behind it, like guilt, hesitation, or emotional conflict. Shooting from the front often indicates that the murder was done in anger, rage, and impulse. In this, the killer confronts a victim because he has a strong motive to kill the victim, and there is an emotional drive with which he is showing his control over the victim. Deepak Yadav deliberately lied that he shot Radhika from behind so that he can show that his step was pre-planned. And this act was done out of guilt and not out of anger. But what does this prove? See, shooting from behind means pre-planned murder, in which, under IPC Section 302 or BNS Section 101, there's a punishment of death or life imprisonment, whereas shooting from the front means murder in sudden rage or anger, in which, under IPC Section 304 or BNS Section 106, there's a punishment of death or life imprisonment. This means that Deepak Yadav is guilty of this, and he deliberately wants him to be hanged. And this was the reason why he told his brother Vijay Yadav that he has killed a girl, and he should be hanged. The reason he didn't tell was that his brother was out of his mind. In the court, and technically, the post-mortem report is kept above confession. So, it is clear that Deepak Yadav shot from the front, and this was done out of anger. That's why he shot his daughter 4 times in a row. In criminology, this is called overkill. And as per criminal psychology, this kind of overkill in a parent-child murder is not just a death signal, but it is a tragic symbol, in which emotions are so overpowering that instead of humanity and love, only anger, frustration, and pain remains. The victim becomes a representation of all those things that the killer either wants to destroy or control. 2 weeks before Radhika's murder, the situation at home had changed a lot. Something was going on behind the walls of this house. And for the past 2 weeks, Radhika was going to the academy with her mother instead of her father. News channels started giving reasons to make reels on Radhika's Instagram, while the police denied the motive for Radhika's social media presence. The police is also considering it an open and shut case, in which there is no clear motive other than confession. In fact, Radhika had a private account on Instagram, which had only 6 posts and 68 followers. In this search for the motive, Radhika's best friend Himanshika, who is also a tennis player and had been with Radhika for 10 years. She started making shocking revelations about Radhika's life and her family in a video. What are you doing? Who are you talking to? I remember I had to show her on video calls that I am talking to Himanshika. Her dad was influenced by her friends, because her friends were very jealous of Radhika's success. Those 4 people whose words her father has shot, those 4 things were that she has started doing makeup. She wears small clothes. Now you have started growing on her money. You should have made her do business now. Restrictions in the family is also justified by those WhatsApp messages, which Radhika did to her former coach Ajay Yadav, who is now settled in Dubai. She did it last year around October 2024. Radhika had told him that she wants to leave the house for some time. She wants to live independently in Australia or Dubai. She wants to enjoy life, because there are a lot of restrictions at home. Her aim is that she will do some courses there. According to Radhika's coach, Deepak Yadav's obsession for Radhika's tennis career was more than Radhika's. He wanted Radhika to focus only on tennis. And for that, He was spending his time, money, and resources. So if we add up the points, in the beginning of 2024, Radhika's interest in acting was shown. And then in October 2024, being independent in another country and doing courses, etc. Somewhere or the other, it shows that there was a conflict in the aspirations of a father and daughter. Radhika might have wanted to see the outside world of tennis, but her condition was exactly the same. Like putting a rope around a cow's neck in a green grass field. Tie it with a rope, and the rope should be just as long, so that the cows can graze on the grass around the corner. With this conditional freedom for years, Radhika was suffering from suffocation and emotional suffocation. And maybe she had kept this in front of her father. In this case, Radhika had become a symbol. At that time, Radhika was not just a daughter for Deepak. She had become a face of frustration, anger, and pressure, which Deepak Yadav was feeling. Like people's taunts, the pain of his ego, and the fear of society that what will people say if my daughter does not follow my will? At that moment, Deepak Yadav felt that his daughter is going against his respect, control, and masculinity, and this thought blinded him so much that he killed his own blood. He could not see that there are some people in society who pretend to be your well-wishers, but in reality, they are also jealous of your and your family's progress. Daughters are always closer to their father, and often in the case of honor killing, a father does not kill his beloved daughter for any personal reason, but for the sake of the society. This case looks like selective freedom, but in reality, it is much more than that. This is a case of obsession with control, which is related to conditional parenting, and we understand it in a simple way. Radhika was allowed to wear a sports dress, which is a mini skirt in the case of tennis. She was allowed to work out. She was allowed to travel outside for tournaments, which is a good thing. But people who are justifying Radhika's murder, judging by some photos and videos of Radhika, even said that she had got so much freedom. What else do you want? But was Radhika really completely free? Radhika was 25 years old, but she was always constantly monitored and accompanied. Her world revolved around tennis, and only tennis. And apart from tennis, she did not have the freedom to make personal choices. This was a performance-based parenting. She had only that much freedom because she was serving the ambitions of her family. In such a case, if the girl's choices are aligned with her image, as her parents want, then she is supported. But if she steps out emotionally, socially, or romantically, then the backlash is very dangerous. Radhika was not just a daughter for her father, but a project. She was a symbol of success. It was a career investment on which she had spent her time, money, and energy. In such cases, highly obsessed parents forget to see their children as a human being. They forget that they also have emotional and social needs. And when those children, for any reason for themselves, when they're just thinking of choosing a new path, then that same control takes a form of violence. In Radhika's case, leaving her father in the morning, waiting there all day, and then bringing Sham along. On top of that, you can call it father support and care. But when the same father shoots the same daughter in the chest, it becomes clear that Radhika's father's toxic possessiveness was hidden in the guise of care in front of society. And it was not support, but possessive surveillance. And all these things are also validated by her friend's statement and the text given to the coach. Radhika had the freedom to become a tennis champion. But Radhika as a human, not as an individual identity. See, my purpose is not just to show parents as villains and children as victims, but to give a message with balanced approach. True freedom does not just give children the freedom to chase success, but to give them a space where they can openly express their thoughts, questions, worries, and dreams without any fear or judgment. At the same time, freedom does not mean to rebel for children. Freedom means to express your thoughts responsibly, with trust and courage in front of the parents. Because it is not necessary that in every case, the parents are wrong, but it is possible that looking at today's world, they are afraid that they are overprotective or misinformed. Parents should not treat their children as a project. Giving career freedom and snatching emotional freedom is also a control, not parenting. Any success at the cost of emotional suffocation is actually a failure. What is the use of such medals when the child is hollow from the inside? It's okay to disagree with your child's choices, but it's never okay to punish them with violence. Taking your daughter's life is not saving her honor, but murder. And any kind of anger, shame, deception, or fear of society cannot justify it.